Hey,
So
this is
I
great.
think,
So we have a podcast with the three of us, and
yep,
it's the official TechTonic Shifts podcast.
yes.
So I think it's like a celebration moment. Yeah, the
Yeah,
podcast. Shall we do a quick introduction, who we are and why we're doing this?
yep, perfect.
So Slooby, can you start?
Well, this is Slooby or Slob in English, and he's my faithful Merle Dachshund or Dachshund or Wiener dog, and he isn't quiet. So if there's someone walking on the lawn, he'll start barking. But I'm hoping the noise reduction filter will filter it out, but I'm not sure. So, but he's an integral part of this podcast.
Very nice. We always see him online in all your articles as well. I love it. Yeah, Tectonic Shifts is your broadcasting method. I enjoy reading your stuff, so I think it's me that I have to just do a quick introduction. Why am I here on this podcast? Um, my
Yeah,
name is
sure.
Judith van Hoof. I'm a change manager, transformation manager, and from school and university on, I focus on people and process. And during my career, I focus more on technology, but always the balance between things. So, of course, I cannot escape the digital part, the AI part. And that's where we met Marco. And it's very interesting, the discussion we always have coming from the adoption, from people and processes, and the big T of technology. How does it integrate? What's happening in the world today? So, we always have good conversations. So, let's record them. That's what we said to each other. You know what? We're going to just record it.
Yeah.
Record
Did
it.
you
Yeah.
did you hit the record button? By the way, it's
Yes.
always handy. Yeah. Okay. So we are recording. We're live. So for the first time, so our first podcast is not gonna have one topic. So we decided to just, take on any subject that comes to mind, and ranging from papers, new developments, trillions of debt, what have you.
Yeah, just an exploration of the field, the AI field, but also what's going on in corporate world or personal lives. That's also been touched by AI a lot. Um, so an exploration, first episode, always curious as well because I know we can talk for hours. So we're trying to keep that first one a bit short in the different topics. And then the question already. So keep in mind, please send us through the Tectonic Shifts podcast response and feedback and what are topics you're interested in. Because we like to zoom in on different things, but always interested in what you would like us to discuss and what your questions
Yeah,
are. So how can we help you?
absolutely. Absolutely. That's fun. That's fun. That's better than us just, coming up with ideas so yeah, and I think the community is vocal enough to come up with ideas. So kind of like that. So where should we start?
I was interested, and it's also a bit about our age, because you said the trillions. And I saw the records of Nvidia being, I don't know, gazillion of dollars and worth, and interested in your take. I can guess a bit what direction you're going, but the bubble, because we're going towards the end of 2025 and the state of AI. Um, can you name some things that come to mind?
Yeah, 1.5 trillion investment and valuation. That's basically more than the entire e-commerce bubble and the financial crisis put together. But the main difference is that those were, like bits and bytes only. E-commerce websites, toppling over, financial models crash, financial the banks crashing. Uh, that was a burning of liquidity. But in this case, the main body of investments in AI goes into data centers. Those water guzzling, energy sucking, monstrous machines that, operate mostly in the United States and suck entire lakes dry for your email to be sent out or your poem or my images of my dachshund, right? So, and organizations are borrowing money, huge amounts of money, like hundreds of billions of dollars of money to invest in those data centers. And when the bubble pops or it deflates, what will happen to those data centers, right? And I'm sure this bubble is going to deflate. We've been able to
Wait,
stretch it.
you say an interesting word, deflate. So it's not going to pop, but it's going to deflate.
Yeah, because there is uh, because of the enormous investments these companies have made, and the fact that people are still highly enthusiastic about AI. But on the other hand, there is no real evidence that it makes us more productive, right? So basically, a typical hype goes from, an organization that creates the hype, in our case, it was OpenAI, all the way to the peak of inflated expectations. Then it goes through the trough of disillusionment via the slope of enlightenment to the plateau of productivity. I'm basically
The hype
describing
cycle.
Gartner's
Yeah.
hype cycle. Yeah, and with generative AI, we're already on the downslope, right? On the right shoulder, all the way to the trough of disillusionment, because generative AI hasn't proven to be able to replace people, which is a great thing for us people, right? But not for AI. Look at Klarna. This guy, a CEO called
Yeah.
Sebastian Siemiatkowski, or has got a difficult name. He has about 7,000 people in his customer service department. Made a deal with OpenAI and cut out 2,000 workers, call center workers, and in favor of AI. And the thing is, their customers didn't want to have none of that. So now he's made a
A
pivot
rollback.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, a rollback, pivot back to and saying people are our most valuable asset. He's a hypocrite, of course, but that's what's happening. So that's generative AI. And the next promise was going to be agentic AI. This autonomous AI with tools and stuff that could do things, but it isn't enterprise ready.
E- Exactly. Oh, I have so many things. So we can look. We can left, right, up, down. Hold on. Let me take you back, and that's also giving away my age. Take you back to the internet bubble. So it's very interesting. Yeah, like
Yeah.
bubbles. That was the first trigger for me because there's like, you see, AI is a bubble. It's going to go away, and it's going to deflate or pop or. But back in. Can you still hear me? Ah,
Yeah.
all right, cool. Let's do that. Back in the days, everything was connected to the internet. Your fridge had internet, like the hype cycle. Oh, we have this World Wide Web, and everything needs to be on it. That bubble popped, but did the internet go away? No, it changed fundamentally the way we do things. I remember my first thing with Google, and I was like, yeah, fun. Who's going to use it? In 10 minutes, Google Maps. Aha, we looked up our vacation address. Great. I use it every day. So, yes, the bubble might pop or deflate because I think we all see it. The numbers are crazy. But in my opinion, it has already fundamentally changed the way we do things from
Yeah.
personal life to enterprise level. But there's an adoption gap. So I do think it's not going to go away, although we are very critical because we see that news and that AI bubble every day. So yes, we are critical, but also a reminder, like, yeah, uh, I don't think in a year we're going to say, that was fun. What's the next thing? This is a path we are on, and we're not going to divert anymore.
No, it's not going away. That's one thing that's for sure. Um, by the
A few moments later.
So we agree that AI is not going to go away, but there is a difference in adoption because on a personal level, I I use it every day, like the Google Maps thing. It's like first you're like, huh? What is this thing I can use? Oh, it's a funny toy. Oh, haha, we can make a poem or a funny picture or and now it's sort of integrated in the way we do things. I see it in my kids as well. So on a personal level, how has it changed your life? Just curious to see.
Well, I've been working with its predecessor since 2008, right? And it wasn't that sexy at the time. And when we talked about AI, I was always pointing to universities where the people with the big heads, they were playing with AI. But then OpenAI suddenly changed everything. Also for me, right? I didn't see it coming. I didn't see because the transformer model, I played with it. It was a autocomplete and it worked, but it didn't work on the scale that OpenAI made it. So I was surprised, and with me, thousands of other people in the industry, right?
Hmm.
So, and ever since I've done a deep dive and I decided to stay in touch with all the latest developments, and it costs a lot of time. So I think it's about I read about an hour to 2 hours a day just to keep in touch with what's happening. But the
Wow.
number of papers have exponentially grown. In 2025, like 2 days ago, there were 50 papers on one day, scientific papers. Well, mostly from China, since they got more people, they got more research. I'm figuring, but it's such a so it has changed my life in the fact that once it was my work, just my work, but now it's turned into a hobby as well. Investigating new tech, playing with new tech, writing about it, investing a lot into it, to be honest.
Hmm.
Costs a bunch to, all these new tech that asks subscription fees, right? But to be honest, my work has benefited from it as well. And I think I can do the job of, say, two and a half people at the same time.
Wow.
Um, yeah, because we were talking before we started about, building PowerPoints. And I showed you Skywork and Manas. The job of creating PowerPoints used to cost me a week to build a good slide deck. And my first training for my students, I had spent about 6 months building. And when I did it with Manus, you gotta know it's a slide deck of 450 to 500 slides, and I could do it from within my bed on my telephone. And it
Fantastic.
generated the same amount of slides in even a better quality than I did. So yeah, it's making me tremendously effective as a person.
I think, and
So
yeah, I think for everybody, on a personal level and also personal productivity, uh, the amount of tools you have at your disposal, at your fingertips, what you can create yourself from your bed or from the couch, and you're like, let me create a video.
yeah,
It's we jump over that fact quite easily, but it was not our uh, at our disposal. We had not, we didn't have the power. It was design, it was the industry, entertainment. They made stuff for you, and if you wanted to edit yourself, you're like, oh yeah, is anybody good with Photoshop? Help out! You're always losing time, and now you have that. It's just like pop, you can make a funny thing or your own family album, and it's a video, and it's fantastic and it's funny, but it's a really big change on what we can do. And
yeah,
for your work life, indeed, I struggle with the PowerPoint thing. That's why I ask you, because I'm still a bit in the old mindset sometimes. Like, but I know what I want. Let me create it with AI instead of taking that other step back and actually investing more in the right prompt and then having it create. So I'm still in the middle sometimes, like, but I have the consultancy deck and let me try to fix it with Canva and Gamma and blah, blah, blah. And then and Copilot, and then I'm stuck and then I'm
yeah,
frustrated. But I have to take another step back and just explain the context, explain the intent, and really have it as a partner, as a buddy,
yeah.
and then create. I think, and that's the step I still need to make sometimes. I'm like trying to control it too much, but I have to just ask it. And it's interesting.
Yeah,
But then on a personal level, yeah.
but talking about the slide decks is what I said earlier is I'm working with ChatGPT still. So I still have a subscription because it's the fastest model, and it is. I've grown accustomed to it and the way it communicates. So it's my assistant in generating prompts these days. So and for quick questions and for having a conversation while I drive. It's kind of
Yeah,
sad. Okay.
I do
Um,
too.
I'm not talking to real humans anymore. I'm talking to Chad. I'm calling him Chad when I drive, so I can, have a good, deep conversation with somebody that really knows his stuff. And so I've grown accustomed to it, but it is very poor in creating stuff. So ChatGPT creates horrible decks, to be honest. And so
Yes.
that's why I'm using Skywork and Manas. But I ask it to come up with the prompt. So it generates a prompt for me. And we have a dialogue, and in this I ask him to take point in the dialogue, and that's how we craft together this huge prompt for a slide deck, including how the design should be made, what the logos I want to use, and then it's off, and it generates 100 to 200 slides in one go. It takes a few hours, but it's of tremendous quality. And yeah, that used to take me days on end, weekends
Yeah.
mostly.
Yeah. And frustration.
But what I'd like to know is your kids. What are your kids doing with AI? How old are they, by the way?
14 and almost 11. And the way they just talk about it, like it's the most normal thing in the world. Yeah, I just asked AI what the opinion was or the fact check, and I'm like, oh, what was it? Was it true? And they look at me like, why? Everything they say it's true, right? I'm like, no, you have to check it. Why? And so it's like they don't even consider the fact that it could be a hallucination or not the right source. No, I just got the answer. Ugh, the easiest way, right? I just
So
accept
they
it.
don't do fact checking either. They just accept how it is.
They're teenagers.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
They're not
like,
questioning anything. They're
yeah.
questioning.
Oh, it saved me time. Great, more time for games, right? So
Oh yeah.
it's their world. They use a lot of things for filters, funny videos, pictures, and everywhere there's a chat integrated now. So I'm really looking at all the socials as well, like Meta, and you cannot delete it. So I'm like, you know what? Stop asking. Don't use it. Just chat with your friends. Stop asking the Meta chatbots because they go into a rabbit hole quite easily. Ah, ha, ha, it answered. It's funny, mama. And then they just continue chatting with it. And I'm like, we're
Oh,
going to stop
interesting.
this.
I've never
Yeah,
played with the Meta chatbot, so there's too many chatbots. But
it's everywhere and you can't escape it. So, and for them, it's a given. It's like, oh, whatever it says. Yeah, it's a chatbot, but there's no, we are very critical. They're not.
okay, and of course, about the lawsuits against character AI and OpenAI, right? The recent ones. And in a statement from Sam Altman yesterday, he said he receives a million. ChatGPT gives out 1 million plus warnings um, each day on suicide notes. I received one as well. Not that I'm suicidal, but it's easily triggered, and of course, that there's been a few kids that have taken their own lives, right? So this Sewell Setzer, the third guy, 14-year-old, the Belgian
Yeah.
guy, you know, all through character AI, and it basically mimics your personality, but it also, it, it um, mimics the mood you're in, and it expands the mood.
It drags you down
It drags you down
yeah, a slide. It's a
a
slippery
slippery
slide.
slope.
Yeah. And for kids, everything is very addicting, like those games. Oh, yeah, no, one more round and then I get a bonus. No, one more round and get a free skin. No, one more. And it's the same with the chatbots. They don't
Yeah.
let you go. You
How do
have to
you
put the limit in.
how do you do
Um,
that?
I sit next to them.
When
So,
they chat.
yeah,
Okay.
well, not all the time, but I do. I'm like, huh. And I just ask open questions. What are you doing? Show me interest. And they're like, ah, look, mommy. But then it's also a way to have that conversation. So when do you end? How do you stop this? Because it's going to give you back answers, or Snapchat will give you the next thing, or YouTube Shorts. There's always a next one already starting to play.
Yeah.
So we're talking about how to put limits in yourself. And do you have to answer your friends or in the group chat right away, or can you just leave it? And of course, you can do parental control, screen
Yeah.
time. You can do it all, but then you don't have the conversation. And I
No.
like that
Yeah.
conversation that they have to think for themselves. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Like, okay, and now I asked you to put that away for 3 times and you're still going. Why? Oh, yeah. And I think that those eye openers are gold to have that conversation with your kids. And of
Cool.
course, every parent struggles, huh? So I'm not
Yeah.
perfect in that regard. It is a constant struggle because they're so addicting and they're so the mind, the brain, the dopamine, all the neurons. It's pew 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 pew. So it's for me, it's hard to put the phone away sometimes, and for the kids, it's even
Yeah.
harder. So the ethics around AI, the social media, the integration between social media and AI. I mean, it's a double whammy. It's like a
Double
exponential
whammy.
addict. Yeah, the double whammy. It's
Yeah.
like as a kid, how can you be strong enough to stop? And that worries me, and especially in the schools. And I'm happy that they put the phones in the
In a
safes, the
bag.
lockers,
All right. Okay.
because what they do is they make a lot of videos of each other. Let me make a video of you in the locker room, or make a video of you there, and then they put funny filters on, or they put it in ChatGPT and they edit it, and boom, it's gone. And they put it on social, and kids are really in trouble. And they don't think, and it's so easy with all the tools that we have. So we have that power at our fingertips, but it's also very fast, and it's easily just gone, and it's gone. It's on the web,
Yeah.
and you're
So
in trouble.
how
Yeah.
much time do they even spend on their phones? I know I do. I think 4 or 5 hours maybe a day. On a good day.
Yeah. It depends on the day. During school week, less. But in the weekends, they're like, let me chill on the couch if they're not doing sports.
Oh
And for
yeah.
them, chilling on the couch is with maybe a TV on, a screen in the hand, headphones on, talking to a friend in the game, or it's not just one screen, it's multiple.
How does it has it changed multitasking? I always find it very hard to multitask. I cannot. I can only do one thing and one thing well. And all these distractions, they keep me from doing my thing. And are they different now? Are they programmed different? Are their brains wired different than ours?
I think attention span, but I notice it for me. It's like you have to quickly get to the point and have an attention span of 1.5 minutes. And it's long. And for them, it's like in 5 seconds, you need to sort of have the main message out, and then you see them.
Talking about attention spans, by the way, have you read the paper that I created about HDHD?
Not
The
yet.
ADHD paper. Okay. It's called, I spend, no, people say that I suffer from ADHD. Not sure if that's true. I try to not think about it. And, but I wanted to create a contribution to the field. So, I do research, but I wanted to create an algorithm. So I sit down for 6 months or so in my own time, and I came up with the Wanderers algorithm. I call it the Wanderers algorithm.
Nice. Yeah.
What I was setting out to do is to create a more creative AI. And in I use the analogy it's a of Einstein in 1905. When the guy invented it's his Annus Mirabilis, his miracle year. And in that year, he invented a few papers, like the Brownian motion is what he discovered and what he wrote about, and his general relativity, right? And he actually received the Nobel Prize, but not for relativity, but for the Brownian motion and for uh, black body radiation. That was a kind of interesting one as well. But I'm digressing. That's an ADHD thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this, say, for the sake of the experiment, that he had access to ChatGPT in 1905, would he be able to step outside of the box where it's trained on, because, you know, an AI is trained
Yeah.
on a body of knowledge, would he be able to come up with concepts like special and general relativity? Because you got to know that at the time, physics was considered to be done, over and done with. Everything was thought to be invented. Newton had invented everything, right? Quantum mechanics didn't exist. But on the gravity end, the way the cosmos works, it was all Newton. And then came Einstein, and he came up with a completely different solution. Would an AI be able to pull this off on its own? And my answer is no. And that goes against what Sam Altman said a couple of days ago in a speech. He said, actually, he came up with the same analogy. He said, if Einstein had the option of working with ChatGPT, he would have come up with the relativity theory. And there was a couple of days after I posted mine, right? So, but I don't think that's true, right? Because how can it come up with something outside of the box? And that's what got me thinking. And I was looking at how I come up with new ideas. And it's basically daydreaming. I do a lot of daydreaming. When I'm in
Yes.
the toilet, in the shower, taking a bath, in the middle of the night, but also during, you know, work time, it's my mind starts to wander. And I hop from one concept to the other, right? And I see it as a radar screen, and I send out a blip, like a pulse, and
Mhm.
ideas blip up on the radar screen. And then I collect them and I analyze them, and new ideas start popping up. And I was thinking, why not put that process into a model? And the model is called the Wonders algorithm. And there is this process which is key to the model, which I call the active daydreaming loop. But
Mhm.
of course, it needs to have an acronym, so I call it WRCR, right? So CRC, it's wonder, collect, report, etc. So what it
Mhm.
first does, it um, explores adjacent concepts. So technically, I have it go through a vector database and through a graph neural network and explore adjacent concepts. But a typical AI would just take the first nearest vector and report that back as being the best solution. But this algorithm doesn't. So it has a hop count. So it just hops from one concept to the next. And then the combine phase, it combines concepts and it reports it back as new ideas. And then it reflects on it, right? And the
Nice.
reflection is what you get back as a human. And so I wrote this model, did the math behind it. That took most of the time. And I think this could well be a solution to make it more creative. So I still have to post it. I posted it online on TechTonic Shifts in a blog, but I have to push it through peer review. That's going to take half a year, but I'm going to publish it anyway because I
So
think maybe
nice.
this is a cool solution to make it more creative.
Yeah. It's from a sociology point of view. I'm a sociologist. Uh, it's interesting that those concepts. So it's like the strength of weak ties. That everything happens not in the first periphery, but after that. So you get in your life, you're connected. Like LinkedIn, you have the first, the second degree, the third degree, and this is like your first concept is usually a very safe space, but
Yeah,
the magic happens at the second link, the third, and it just starts to fan out. And everything in
yeah,
your life happens not in the first connection, but in the second one. You get introduced, you get set up on a date, you meet someone on a network, you get your
wow,
job, and it's like usually things in your life, social things, economic, work, education happens one step behind the first link. And it's interesting to see that concept in your model as well.
Wow.
It's like
Is it,
the
what's
magic
it called?
happens behind the strength of weak ties. And I forgot
Yeah.
the author, but you can find it.
Oh, cool. Because that is what a social graph typically models, right?
Yeah.
A social graph is like a person in a network connected to other people, and there are weights which represent the ties you have, like strong bonds have
Yeah.
higher weights, and the opposite. So, and in the first layer, you will not get the best ideas. So you have to wander from
Exactly.
layer
Wonder. It's
to
fan
layer,
out. Yeah.
fan out.
And that's where you get everything. It's funny that the social concept is exactly the same for your wondrous logic and
Algorithm.
math. Yeah,
Yeah.
algorithm. Yeah.
Cool. All
Cool.
right.
Hey, so we touched upon personal life. And I know we can talk for hours, and we will, because we're going to continue this podcast. So again, topics to follow. Quick thing, we said personal lives, kids' lives, the things that we have at our disposal. We have power at our fingertips. And then we have a huge gap to the corporate world scaling this.
Oh
And I'm
yeah.
curious what you see, because we all work for companies, big and small, who say, this AI thing, interesting. Can we do something with it? And
Yeah.
that's a journey. And I'm curious where you are right now.
Oh my God, scaling.
Yeah, like I'm
Um,
opening up another Pandora's box here.
yeah, because generative AI and scaling is okay. That's one thing. We are past that. Agentic AI is what is promising us productivity is basically unscalable at this moment. Um, so it is not mature yet. So just ask yourself the question, do you want to fly in a plane that's been built by or with agentic AI? Or do you want to get paid by a system that's built on agentic AI, including hallucinations? Well, you don't, right? And it's still prone to attack. The attack surface is very large. So for enterprise use, agentic AI isn't really there yet. And I was thinking, okay, so this is the end, but there's something lurking on the horizon, which is frightening. And I know that because I'm involved in one of those projects at a distance still, but um, it's actually based on the algorithm called browser use. It's an old one. And what browser use does, it looks at your screen, right? That's the C component. It's computer vision algorithm. It looks at your screen and it recognizes what you're doing or what you're looking at or what it is looking at. And the second part of the algorithm, the act part, is where it interacts with the screen. And so it clicks, it scrolls, it opens up stuff, it absorbs and digests it. And this model is implemented at Anthropic. It's called computer use.
One moment.
Yep. Is hij weer op? Zijn we weer een half uur verder.
Ja.
Dat is toch goed. Is het een batterijdingetje of echt een driverdingetje?
Ja, het is sinds die drivers. Yes.
Ja, je bent er.
So strange. We said browser use, Marco.
Yeah. And so I was talking about computer use, which is Anthropic's implementation of browser use. It's not available on the front end, only through their API, but the computer use system has the same function, right? Look at the screen, interact with the screen. OpenAI is one as well. It's called Operator. So it browses on your behalf. I use Manus, you have Skyworks, everybody's invested in this browser use algorithm. But now it's being turned into a platform to run at scale. And generative AI is all about, text and creativity. Agentic AI was supposed to be about work, and browser use is going to be all about replacing people who do tedious and repetitive work. And
So
this
it's like
browser use,
the robots for your knowledge work.
exactly, it's RPA on steroids, as
Yeah.
ChatGPT would say, right? And RPA failed because, at least the organizations I've worked with have tried out RPA, robotics process automation, and it failed because when the situation was slightly different than what it was trained on, it would default back to a human, right? And adding agentic AI to RPA only made it complex and more expensive. But this thing is so simple, and just give it a try yourself. Just open up Google AI Studio and share your screen and ask it to describe what it sees. It's a free service, and you can ask it all the questions you'd like to ask a system administrator, and it helps you set up your system. It recognizes the applications you're looking at, but it doesn't interact. You still have to do that. But
Mm-hmm.
in the browser use algorithm, it is see and act. And once it is trained on these apps, and some of them it does out of the box, right? Like Excel, PowerPoint, what have you, mail. So it can take over the tedious jobs from people working in back office functions like HR, procurement, legal, even. And the organization that I'm in touch with thinks it's going to save them 75% of their workforce, who they're trying to reskill um, to match with the job internally, so it will be not a mass exodus of people like in the US, because this is a European outfit. But still, 75% as a target is just huge.
Yeah.
And this one is coming. It's looming on the horizon. One of the biggest players is backing it up, and they're only going to launch it big time whenever this factory is running smooth, right?
Yeah, I was
And
just going to say factory. It's the next factory automation. Like you're not typing ourselves. Because now we're still in a factory, right? We're in a factory where the machines are the laptops and the applications, but we're tied to that thing.
yeah,
9 to 5. Most
yeah,
of the time, we're still in traffic towards the factory. This is our production work,
yeah,
and then we go home.
yeah.
So it's not industrial revolution. It's the next step.
It is the next step indeed. And if you look at the figures, and I reported on it as well, so the first generation of AI didn't make any casualties, right? So I collected all this data from ADP and public employment services, and only in the creative and marketing sector, you see there are job losses, but mainly new jobs are created through AI, like AI wrangler, prompt hustler, or synthetic ethics lead junior, these kinds of roles, non-existing though, but they're all, they're new. Um, but the thing is, that's going to change. And I sincerely think that reskilling yourself may not be the right solution. Um, it can be a solution though, but you have to have and embrace an entrepreneurial mindset and embrace things like personal branding and positioning yourself as a service provider instead of an employee who just does what the manager asks you, right? And I think
Yeah,
this is
that
going to
is a
be,
huge shift. Yeah.
it will be, because um, I didn't see a lot of problems with job losses before. And there were reports like the WEF's Future of Work report that reported like hundreds of millions of job losses. But I think it's coming true now with the newest tech that's coming. And it's not mature yet, right? But this one will not default. It will just continue trying until it's solved with all the creative intelligence, hopefully expanded with my own algorithm,
Mhm.
until the problem is solved. So yeah, I think this one is quite heavy. So at scale running, that's the question, right?
Yeah.
AI at scale is coming. And just take as an example dark factories in China. There aren't that many dark factories in Europe, nor are there dark factories in the United States. AI native companies, not that much even. Maybe a few in marketing and design. I helped build one in the Netherlands. But dark factories in China operate literally in the dark because Huawei, as an example, the telephone company, gets its raw materials on one end and it poops out Huawei phones on the other end. And it's all robotics
Yeah.
in a chain, a huge serial chain. And the only people that run around are the dusters, who, and the people that keeps the electricity going and the sysadmins, and no humans are involved anymore. So there are
Wow.
18 dark factories worldwide. Most of them are in China. So yeah, we have to
I
get
think I think that's a topic because I have a lot of questions and ideas, and so the future of work and the future of society. I think that's one for the next time
I
because
think so too.
I can. My mind is going like really scale out, zoom out. I see the planets, right? Looking at the planet right now in my head, like, oh my God, what would the planet look like?
Yeah.
So that's the next one.
So we went from your kids to the
The
planet and
personal
back.
life, kids, yeah. I have a very visual mind, so I go like, so interesting. I don't know if it's ADHD. I don't think so, but I go from everywhere, and I see it. It's like a movie in my head, so it's interesting.
Cool. Cool. It
Yeah,
will be interesting to analyze that in the next
yeah,
episode.
yeah.
All right.
Hey, let's do a quick recap because this is the first time we talk about it, and we said let's record our sessions, let's record our conversations, because this is how it goes. We go from one to the next, and it's super interesting. Your point of view from tech, my point of view from processes at scale, enterprises, change management, and we go back and forth. So we touched upon a lot: trends, bubble, personal lives, ethics, addiction. Where is
Oh,
the line? And then we went to scale and a little bit of a sneak preview on a very scary future maybe. And I think for the future, that future is one for the next time. So the future of work and what's the impact on all of
cool.
us.
Cool. I'll
Yeah.
make sure I've got the data in my head ready to send.
Ooh.
All righty. Thank you.
Thank thank you. And don't forget, if you listen to this, give us some feedback and also your questions. If you want us to talk about a specific topic or answer your question or your challenge, hey, help us, I'm stuck, then please send it.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you
All right.
guys for
See you on the next
listening.
time.
All righty.
Bye.
Cheers. erin doen, voor je headphone. Want je sound is soort van heel mooi naar blikkerig gegaan. Want je hebt nu zeker je PC-speaker erop. Is die batterij leeg of zo? Oh, nou ben je weg.
Is het beter? Ja.
Ja, die is hartstikke goed. Het verschil is
Ja.
echt dag en nacht, hè?
Ja. Ik heb de drives opnieuw moeten installeren van Bluetooth en audio en alles. Het is gecrashed
Ja.
en nu gooit hij hem gewoon uit naar 30 minuten. Heel raar.
Oh, oké. Nou ja, dan
Ja.
hebben we een goede reden om het aan de 30 minuten te houden. Alright. Oké.
Dus jij kan katten. Oké, top.
Ik kan ermee spelen.